Now, good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about prebiotics, postbiotics, probiotics, and symbiotics. The world of probiotics is actually relatively new. We have trillions of bacteria in our GI, in our body. Over 90% of them are anaerobic, which means they do not survive when exposed to oxygen. So not until they actually mapped out the human genome were we able to start studying your microbiome. So I find that really fascinating because in the world of medicine, there's not a lot of things that we find out that are just brand sparkling new. And your microbiome and what it does for your body, the health benefits, we're just discovering more and more all the time. For every human cell, you have 10 bacterial cells. The majority of that bacteria, your microbiome is located in your intestine. So you have about 25 different species in your stomach, and you have about 500 to 1,000 different species in your intestines. So my point being on your microbiome is that not only is it diverse, but it's abundant. So if you are going to be taking a probiotic for wellness, it's really imperative that you want a probiotic that is diverse in species and is abundant. Now your bacteria is alive, so it needs food to survive. And the preference for your probiotics is undigestible fibers that you get from plants. These fibers are not broken down by your stomach acid, your digestive enzymes, your bile salts. So they make it all the way into the intestines and then become food for your gut. These fibers come from carbohydrates and plants, and they fall under a class of called fructans. These fructans are basically just small sugar molecules that are lined up together. And the majority of you, if you've looked at your probiotic, you might have seen FOS or inulin. These are our most common prebiotics. They can be found in chicory root, dandelion greens, Jerusalem artichoke, asparagus, garlic, onions, leeks, some fruits, bananas, apples, seaweed, raw oats. So really a lot of different plants. When you feed your microbiome fiber, then you make it happy. And you make it happy, it makes these postbiotic metabolites. So we've talked about your probiotics, which most of you know, prebiotics, which is your fiber, and now we're talking about postbiotic metabolites. We are finding that these postbiotic metabolites are actually more important for maintaining your health. In fact, these postbiotics might be more important than actually taking a probiotic. They produce hundreds to thousands of metabolites, and these metabolites help detox, they do cell signaling, they support your immune system, they kill bad bacteria, they regulate your pH, they make antioxidants, vitamins, that type of stuff. Two that you might have heard of as short-chain fatty acids and glutathione. Short-chain fatty acids, these are actually food for your, like your coloncytes, your cells in your GI. So I find it just fascinating that your bacteria makes food for your human cells. These intestinal cells have a high turnover rate, so it's even more imperative that you're giving them, the food for them, the fuel for them. Another postbiotic metabolite that you might have heard of is glutathione. Glutathione is like the king daddy of all antioxidants. It is like the master antioxidant. It also is extremely imperative in detoxing. You cannot detox appropriately without glutathione. And glutathione is only a postbiotic metabolite from certain strains of your probiotics. So again, you need diversity, abundance, and these postbiotic metabolites might be even more important. There are companies that combine the prebiotic with the probiotic, so the inulin with like the lactobacillus or something, and they choose ones that work synergistically together, and these are what we call Syn-biotics. There are also companies that put together the pre, the post, and they add the pre, the pro, and they add the postbiotic metabolites together. And this is pretty much all I use. Unless I have done a test where I've mapped out the microbiome in a patient, which is actually really easy to do. It's just a stool test. And I find out that they're not colonizing a certain species, then I might shift the type of probiotic, prebiotic kind of combo I would give, or if they have something like SIBO or something where it would not be wise to give them prebiotic. So that's about it. If you are considering a probiotic for health, I really want you to look at diversity, abundance, and consider at least getting one with a prebiotic. So inulin or chicory root or something, you know, or FOS in it would be wise. Do any of you have any questions for me? If you're gonna take your mic off, you can put it in the chat box. Up to you. We are being recorded.
So do you need a probiotic that is in the refrigerator when you buy it, or?
That's a really good question. So what we're looking for with your probiotic is you want it to be alive, and there are companies that will freeze dry. They will, you know, freeze them, and so they have a longer shelf life. There are some companies that the way that they're combining the capsules with the everything else, that they can have a good shelf life. I'm always just looking, I still put mine in the fridge, even if it says it doesn't have to. I'm just looking for companies that are testing post-manufacture how much of those bacteria are still alive. To me, that's more important than anything else, because I think you'll find some that they require refrigeration that have failed to have as much alive bacteria as they say. Does that kind of answer your question? Sort of.
I'm still a little confused as to what I'm looking for when
I think what you're looking for is more, you want a good quality that the company has verified what is post-manufacture. So what you get on your shelves has the billions, you know, if they say 12 billion, 5 billion or whatever bacteria, how much of that's still alive, versus looking if it's refrigerated or not refrigerated. Because there's a lot of companies that say they need to be refrigerated and they're not, they don't have the live bacteria in it. So I guess I'm telling you more to maybe trust your daughter who tells you what to get versus as a probiotic versus just looking for ones in the fridge. Does that make more sense? The fridge part isn't as important as they say. There are a lot of great companies that are making probiotics that have live bacteria in it. They have the post metabolites in it. They have the prebiotics in it, and they do not need to be refrigerated. Does that make more sense? If I've confused everyone, that's my mom that asked the question.
I guess I'm still wondering how I know if it's got the pre, the post, and the pro.
So the pre is going to say inulin or chicory root or something like that. The post will say short chain fatty acids in it. And here, the refrigeration is not as important because a lot of companies, like I said, don't have, I'm going to Google something and show you. I'm going to show you my favorite. How about that? So Dr. O'Hara's is my favorite. It is what I prescribe for most patients. He has fermented his bacteria for longer than most companies. He uses a range of different things to ferment. So he's using mushrooms and fruits and plants and all that type of stuff. I got a screen share. Oops. Hold on, bear with me, everybody. No. Why is that not working? Did I just hang up on everybody? No. Sorry, my computer's not letting me grasp it. Okay. So I'm going to share screen. And Dr. Ohio's probiotics are my favorite. They're coming from, not only is it diverse, so there's 12, can you guys see that, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. So not only is there 12 different probiotic strains, lactobacillus, your bifidobacteria, streptococcus, that type of stuff. These prebiotics, you can see, so this is what they're using to ferment. They use prunes and goji berries and figs and Japanese mugwort and mushrooms and seaweed and all that type of stuff. Then they have the 12 different species of bacteria. And then they actually label your postbiotics. So your short chain fatty acids, your oligosaccharides, which is part of your FOS, and they have some other minerals and vitamins. And so they're actually labeling. And that kind of goes back to the beginning of January, when I was talking about, like, January and February is going to be about supplements. Like, part of finding a good supplement is finding a company that is transparent. So they are listing out what is in it, and it's easy to find. Dr. Ohio's does not need to be refrigerated, but they are using, I believe, a third party that shows how much bacteria, and that's on another page, is actually still alive once it gets on the shelves. Well, I think you'll find, I don't want to name names, you'll find some companies where they are needed to be refrigerated. They have maybe 2 species in it. There's no prebiotic, there's no postbiotic. There's, the labeling's bad, but they're requiring refrigeration. And upon testing, let's say they have 12 billion, they say live, but really only, 2 billion are surviving actually on the shelves or in your fridge. Does that answer your question, Bernard?
Much better, thank you.
Difficult. Just kidding, Mom. Anybody else?
How did the fast go?
The fast went great. For those of you who are just joining in, I did a second round of detoxes, or a detox / weight loss for some people. We are on our 8th day, so we have 2 more days to go. I'm still drinking my mushroom coffee, which I actually enjoy a lot. Really, some people have had some great success. Some people have lost a lot of weight, learned a lot about eating habits. And I think sometimes the takeaway from that is, with these detoxes, at least for me, is my connection to food and the choices that I make and why I make them. But yeah, I think everyone now is, we're on the downhill, so it's a lot easier. Day 6, 7 is usually like, ugh, I don't want to keep doing this. But yeah, a lot of, I would say, really positive results, and just people happy and proud of themselves and that type of stuff, which I think is probably the most important, is just feeling like that you can do it, and learning a lot about eating habits and just giving your body a rest, and that just feels good too. A lot of like, for me personally, I guess I should only speak for me personally, giving up coffee for 10 days is good, because it makes me realize that some of my 9, 10 o'clock kind of feeling anxious and like I'm not getting enough done and I got to run around is probably just coffee that's causing me a little bit of anxiety. So that's always a good reminder. Good reminder that just because it's dinner time, I don't need to open a bottle of wine and have a glass of wine during dinner. So it's always nice to kind of just find out what your connections are to food, but then also get the benefit of giving your body a rest and detoxing your major organs of major organs of detoxification, your kidneys, your GI, your liver, and just feeling better. My sleep app says I'm sleeping so much better too, which is always a pro, always a benefit. Sleep better. Thank you for asking. Any other questions? I might do, if anyone's interested, I might do another detox. I've already had people ask me to maybe do this like a monthly thing. I'm debating about it. I don't know if I want to do it monthly, but I definitely would support people to do it, or at least offer it every month. And I might not be doing it with you every time, but yeah, so I'm thinking about offering that. So I will be sending out little emails if I do decide to do that. You can always email me if you have any questions, drlindsaysnelson@gmail.com. A copy of this will be on my website, drlindsaysnelson.com. I am doing virtual appointments still. If you are interested, you can book directly on my calendar, which you'll find on my website, and I can send you if you email me, but it's on Calendly/Dr. Lindsay S. Nelson. Anything else? No? All right. I guess I'll probably stop screen sharing. Thank you everyone for attending. Really appreciate it. And hopefully I will see you all next week. Bye.